In some parts of the world, Ramadan arrives like a festival. The entire city seems to breathe in unison. You hear the call to prayer from the minarets, you see the bustling night markets, you feel this shared rhythm. But for millions of people, it arrives in complete silence. A quiet, deeply personal journey. One that unfolds behind closed doors, in a world that doesn't pause with them. And that's really the question at the heart of all this. What does that kind of devotion look like? It's an exploration into a kind of faith that isn't for public display, but is carried deep inside, in the quiet chambers of the heart. So where does this journey begin? Well, it starts in the deepest part of the night, in those few precious moments right before the first light of dawn. Just picture it. An apartment in Tokyo, maybe, or a house in New York. The city outside is fast asleep. There are no communal countdowns on the radio, no calls to prayer ringing through the streets. There's just the soft light from a single kitchen where a family is sharing their pre-dawn meal, Suhoor. It's this incredibly quiet, intimate moment where a whispered prayer sets the intention for the long day of fasting ahead. And then, as the sun comes up, the fast begins. But the world outside? It just keeps moving at its normal pace, totally unaware of the spiritual discipline being practiced right in its midst. And this, right here, really lays out that stark contrast. In some places, the whole of society shifts for Ramadan. But here, it's the complete opposite. The daily routine is exactly the same. The workday is still a full 8 or 9 hours, and with absolutely no public reminders, fasting becomes this entirely private act of faith. This quote, it really gets to the heart of the internal shift that happens. The challenge of, say, smelling coffee in an office meeting isn't just a test of your willpower. It gets reframed. It becomes a personal, silent reminder of your commitment. And that quiet discipline, it transforms into this profound source of inner strength. But this quiet, solitary journey, it isn't always walked alone. As the day starts to draw to a close, a powerful search for community begins, a search for a taste of home. And where do they find it? Often in a place like the local mosque, the communal iftar, the meal to break the fast. It becomes this beautiful, vibrant mosaic of the global Muslim community. You have people from dozens of different backgrounds, all bringing a piece of their culture to the table. And for a few hours, a simple community hall is transformed into a symbol of unity. But for so many people, the moment the fast breaks is just as quiet as the moment it began. Think about a nurse in Chicago, watching the clock after a grueling shift. A student sitting all alone in their dorm room in Toronto. Or a taxi driver in Berlin who just pulls over to the side of a busy street. At that exact same moment of sunset, each one of them whispers a prayer and takes that first grateful sip of water. It's a deeply shared spiritual experience, lived in solitude. Now, observing Ramadan in an environment like this, well, it comes with its own unique set of challenges. These are tests of endurance that go way beyond just hunger and thirst. Just take a look at that number, 20 hours. In northern countries, places like Sweden or Norway, when Ramadan falls in the summer, the sun barely sets. That requires a level of physical and spiritual discipline that is honestly almost unimaginable to many of us. And here's the thing. Unlike in many Muslim-majority countries, society just doesn't adjust. There are no shorter workdays, school schedules don't change, life goes on. So that means you're facing final exams, or working on a construction site, or even performing surgery, all while observing this incredibly long and demanding fast. But out of these challenges, something incredible often happens. Ramadan can become this unexpected bridge, a moment for connection and understanding in a world full of different cultures. And you can see how this understanding gets built, step by step. It might start with something small, like a student explaining their traditions to curious classmates. Then it grows. Communities start hosting open iftars, inviting their non-Muslim neighbors to come and share a meal. And right there, in those moments, as food is shared and conversations start to flow, barriers just crumble, and real understanding begins to blossom. All of this really brings us to the core of the experience. When all the external signs of religion are stripped away, what are you left with? You're left with a faith that is carried entirely within. And one of the most powerful ways you see this internal faith is through the Tarawih prayer. These are special, long prayers held late at night. Now remember, this is after a full day of fasting and work. And yet, people will travel, sometimes long distances, just to stand shoulder to shoulder and pray together. finding this incredible strength and unity in the quiet of the night. So after everything we've seen, the solitary meals, the long hours, the search for community, the crucial point becomes incredibly clear. It's not about geography. It's not about where you live. It's not about the culture that surrounds you or the special accommodations society might make for you. It's about the conviction you hold inside your own heart. And what this entire journey really shows us is that true devotion isn't dependent on its environment. It's like a seed that can take root and flourish anywhere, whether it's in the crowded streets of Cairo or the quiet suburbs of Vancouver. So I'll just leave you with this question. Look around your own city, your own neighborhood. What quiet, beautiful stories of faith and devotion are unfolding, totally unseen, right beside you every single day?